In prison without the possibility of parole. That's the sentence for Candace Townsell and Kamisha Williams, convicted of robbing and killing an elderly woman in a Pachanga Resort casino bathroom in 2019. Prosecutors say the two women attacked 84-year-old Afaf Assad as she left the bathroom stall, knocking her to the floor where she hit her head. She never regained consciousness. The two defendants also have prior convictions. Williams is the sister of Clippers star Kawhi Leonard.
Sheesh. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Man Cave. We are Ryan and Corey. You are listening to the Much About Nothing podcast, the show where we give expert takes and good-hearted debates. We talk ball and anything and everything else. Today, we're going to be talking about a lot of sports. If you got something to say, put it in the comments. If you're already part of the fam, welcome back. Please like, share, and comment. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let's get into it.
Yes. To all of y'all that was out there telling me to take my Warrior stuff off, it's on now. It's 2-2 series. It's tied. All I gotta say is talk now. Hear a lot of talk when we down 0-2, but when we get back to 2-2, I want to see the same discussions. I've been tweeting that out every day. Phone call be busy when I lose, but when we win, boy, I don't get no text messages, no calls, no good job, no nothing. But shout out to the chat, man. Everybody in the chat full, man. Who out there?
Oh, man, what's up? We got the Hampton family in here, Tyler, Tawana, AD in the building, Tiff. She already put that 5 in way before the show started.
Hey, y'all, we apologize, man. Things got to, be a help have a conversation before this thing. Things got a little heated, but we here now. Yeah. But we're going to start this thing off with talking about the Warrior series. Like I said, it's tied 2-2. What do you think of here from here? Who do you think take it? Hamp, you still going with us?
Yeah, they're the better team. Golden State's the better team.
Golden State the better team, man. I think that also. At the end of the day, but I will say Game 5 is very, very important. But I think the Warriors win Game 5, so that's the way I think it goes. Oh man, let's do Harrison Barnes for the win, man. Here get the clip right here. Y'all let me know what y'all think.
Hunting Curry. He's got Curry on the switch. Fox over to Barnes for the lead. And that's it. The Warriors survive.
Brick City. That's what he threw up. And that's the reason. A matter of fact, I got one more clip. This is what the Warriors were thinking when that boy shot it.
That's the Pistons' fourth team foul.
Like y'all don't understand why we got rid of him.
It was a good shot, man.
It was, but he misses those.
It was a good shot, man. It was a good shot. What up, Kevin? It was a good shot, man. It was. You know what? I was surprised to see. It looked like Steph was playing a little bit of defense there, man.
Yes, sir. He stopped that drive.
I tell you what, he took everything he had in his little body playing defense there.
No,
I ain't seen him play like that in a while. He played defense like that in a while.
I'm gonna tell you what Steph was thinking. Steph was thinking about that bowl head play, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
I mean, he was looking like he was playing like Patrick Beverly, running around getting musty. He was playing some real defense right there.
Trying to tell you, bro. Excellent thing, man. I'm trying to tell you. But Steph's defense has increased. He's not. People just don't understand. He built up that weight to stop that drive. But Harrison, the awful play that he should have cut to the basket, but he cut it out to the 3-point line to allow that jump and allowed Draymond to double that play. If he cut to the basket, he put Draymond in an interesting position. He has to leave Steph one-on-one, or he's gonna leave a wide open layup.
Yeah, I mean, well, him actually stepping out. I mean, again, I always talk about gravity. He creates spacing by staying out. If he does collapse in the paint, then you allow Draymond to help defend. Draymond on that defense said, "I don't care about him being open for the shot."
Yeah,
Draymond felt like that was a low percentage shot, so he went to double team to help out in case Steph couldn't stay in front of him, and then he kicked it out to the open man, and Harrison Barnes just.
But I'm saying. Draymond was in front of Harrison. If you look at the play, Draymond was in front of Harrison. So if Harrison cuts to the basket, Draymond has to back up. Or it's a wide open layup. He has to.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. I get it.
So that's a one-on-one play.
The
But
answer to the question is he got to hit that shot. He did not hit
yeah,
that shot.
he missed the shot. But again, Steph Curry bonehead play, man. Dead serious, man. Y'all take a look at this and y'all let me know. My boy Steph be good, but right here, I don't know what he was doing.
They'll lose the ball.
So to be Sacramento Kings basketball. After the free throw, Steph Curry called a timeout here, and they didn't have any left. And a pained expression etched across the countenance of Steve Kerr.
Massive.
Wow.
Because you're going to.
Yeah. I don't know. Steph, boy, I don't know when the word happened right there, but I don't blame just Steph. Number one, it's not just his fault because they left him on the island. I think the other players forgot that he was the only person in the backcourt. So even if he would have did, the reason why he called a timeout was because at the end of the day, he got trapped. And he had nobody to pass it. He ain't got no outlet. Nobody stayed back. The other 4 players were down the other end of the court. So Steph was there by himself. So it's kind of, he thought he had a timeout.
He did a Chris Webber.
Yeah, it was exactly what it was. Chris Webber.
He did a Chris Webber.
And I expect a 4-time champion to do that.
The anti-J.R. Smith. Like, it happens. But there's always another option other than calling a timeout when you don't have one, especially when you're that close to the sideline. That thing went off somebody's leg. He just had a brain cramp. We can make it all types of excuses. He made a poor choice. Royce
he would say the same thing. It was crazy, man.
Poor choice, but
they got to win. That's the reason why I think he played that hard of a defense at the end. He didn't want this because if he would have lost that game, I ain't going to tell you that's a career jump right there.
No,
people gonna talk. They still talk about that behind the back pass he did in the foul. Nobody forgets that. People will remember that.
When it's all said and done, Steph Curry is going to go down as the top 5 player, 10 player in the NBA.
Nah, I think he's going down as a GOAT. I think.
All right, on to the next one. On to the next one, sir. We are not going to do that tonight.
Listen, we'll do that in another episode, but people know that if Steph Curry go through LeBron and knock him out in that series and knock out Kevin Durant and win the NBA Finals, I got a whole lot of arguments I can face. How many times Steph did knock LeBron out? I can say that.
Next, sir.
The next one is the top of the any other NBA news. Let me turn this TV
any other
off.
NBA, you owed me an opening of the 76ers and what you did not, and they went on to pull the broom out on them boys. That's what ended up happening. So.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be a broom call. I will admit defeat with that, and also Miami looked like they're going to take this series. At the end of the day, did I pick Bucks or Miami? Don't remember that.
I don't know. I thought I picked Miami.
I said if Giannis doesn't come back, I think Miami going to win. But the Bucks, if Giannis come back, I think they can win. But also the Clippers series over because Kawhi Leonard did Kawhi Leonard things. But that's an interesting segue. First question, do you think he missing the action because of the injury or what's going on with his sister? Do you think he might just be, not willing to stand up and say, hey, man, I need to take some time for my sister?
I don't even want to presume, man. I don't even want to presume. I don't know. That is a big deal, though.
Yeah, I think that would have been better because people are horrible with blaming him for being injured. Like at the end of the day, you can't help an injury. If he really is injured, what do you want him to do? It's like the AD jump. Y'all call him street clothes, then he get on the court and perform bad. And it's like, oh, he shouldn't have been in there. Yeah. He tried to play through it, but at the end of the day, you injured. I can't help a team. I'm sorry.
Oh, Kevin said he don't think he messed with a sister like that.
I don't think so. We're going to get into that.
We'll get into that, Kev.
Yeah. So Kawhi Leonard's sister was sentenced to life in prison for her and another lady robbing this lady at a casino in the bathroom. She got pushed down. The lady ended up dying, and both of them got sentenced to life. So, I mean, this thing right here, this was what the contention of the reason why we were late getting on, because we argued the same point. Both of me and Hemp agreed that both of them shouldn't have been sentenced life. I assume you agree with me, right, Hemp? I do think so, because I think it's wrong, because both of them didn't push that lady at the end of the day. But I do think if you're involved in the crime, regardless, I'm the driver and y'all shoot somebody, we all get sentenced. I think that's a universal.
I think the rule is if someone dies in the commencement of a felony.
Yeah, I think that's the rule. Regardless.
I think that's what ends up happening.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, without me looking at the details and going into it, I'm gonna tell you, man. what I heard about a long time ago. My original question was, who told them it was in the commencement of a felony? What's the possibility that lady could have slipped and failed? There's so many presumptions that would have been there to what had happened. Like push the. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know. Life seems like a very long time.
Yeah. And that lady didn't have much left.
She said she had much battery left.
Yeah, she ain't have much battery left. I'm pretty sure she ain't had 10 years. So why in the world I gotta spend? I got 50 years left on me. I gotta spend 50 for 10. I'm not making it light of the situation, but of course they deserve time. I'm just saying that much time is life is a without the ain't it without the possibility of parole?
I don't know, man. Listen,
Like,
when they don't give you a number and they just say
yeah.
life, when they
Well,
don't give
life
you
is 25 years.
a,
Like set. Life is 25 years. Life is considered 25. Point blank period. That's the standard rate. Like double life sentence is 50 years. Triple life sentence is 75 years. And they keep going on like that. But the life sentence is 25 years. So, yeah.
I don't know. That's a I don't know.
Yeah. So you got to solve that solid 25. That's crazy. If you can't do the time, then don't do the crime. I agree. I mean, I agree, Aaron. I'm not over here as a component. That woman lost her life, and that was my mother. I probably up there screaming at the top of my lungs, giving life. They took somebody from me. Those valuable years that I got left to spend with her were valuable years that I wanted. And nobody can measure impact of another person being taken out of another person's life. And I'm pretty sure everybody would agree with that. If somebody was snatched from your life, you don't want to hear the fact that that person being aided. So I was just being facetious, but at the same time, there is seriousness in this conversation. I do agree that that lady's life being snatched from her significant others is a problem, and that person should have been measured by the fullest standard of the law. So at the end of the day, if that's life, that's life.
All right. Well, I hope that, and my hearts and prayers go with the young ladies that are in prison. Hopefully, they will be rehabilitated in 25 years.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they will be rehabilitated because that is the purpose of the penal system, to rehabilitate them, and it just takes a lot longer in situations like this. Leave that alone. All right. But the most important thing that Corey and I were discussing this thing is, if your brother made $250 million, $250 million, to put that in, that's a lot of zeros, don't you think?
Yeah.
If your brother made $250 million, how do you find yourself in a situation where you're knocking off old ladies in a casino bathroom?
I say knocking off the old lady in the casino bathroom might be the reason why he didn't deal with her. Maybe we don't know the extent of their relationship. At the end of the day, Kawhi could have been gave her sister a lot, or he could. We don't know the extent of their relationship. We don't know how they grew up, what they did. He might not even look at it like it's people that got relationship with sisters that they did not grow it. I don't. She ain't got a last name Leonard, so maybe that's just a brother of. We don't know all the extent of their relationship. Like my man said, they might not have messed with each other. That's the truth. But what am I'm my brother's keeper is an interesting saying. It comes from the Bible when Cain told God that am I when you looking for where are your brother? He said, am I my brother's keeper? Meaning, am I his mother? He came back with God, hey, this mom. I don't know. But he did though. So that's the foolish analogy of it. But at the same time, does Kawhi have any responsibility in this person choosing to rob and make decisions? I'm of the component you are entitled to your own consequences in life. And I think that's just the difference in how I'm raised. I think when bad things happen to me, I have nobody to blame but myself. I could look at it how other people impact the way I turned out. I could look at it, well, maybe my father won't in my life, maybe my mother won't in life. But at the end of the day, where does an individual have to take accountability for his own faults in the world? At the end of the day, anybody can blame anybody for their situation. I think everybody can.
Okay. In this situation, I'm gonna say I don't know, but I will propose another question to you. What, in this specific order, what responsibility do you have to your family, to your parents, to your siblings when you make it to a certain level? Which responsibility or obligation do you have to ensure the people, especially your immediate family, close friends? I mean, I'm asking. What do you have?
So from my point of view, it's of my belief that I have a big responsibility. I take on responsibility. At the end of the day, I look like right now where I'm at constantly. I look at myself as the man of my family. I look like I consider myself a pillar in my family, a person that what I'm saying comes in a time of trouble and astounds wisdom and knowledge in the situation. But at the end of the day, I'm not without fault. At the end of the day, I don't. I make bad decisions too, just like all. But and when you pose that question, at the end of the day, I have to start it with saying in my belief, because at the end of the day, I cannot look at another individual and hold them to the same responsibility. At the end of the day, I think the responsibility for any man is to be a man of God, but that's my belief. So if I'm go out there and I see an atheist and say, "Well, you ain't a man of God, you ain't doing your first responsibility in your household," he's gonna say, "Well, I don't attribute to that. So how can I hold him to my same beliefs?" That's ridiculous to say it. Like everybody has their own different moral standpoint.
Mr.
I have
Corey,
mine and y'all have yours.
Mr.
Yes.
Corey, I am
Right.
asking you specifically. When it
Specifically, I
comes to
think you hold
when
a
it
high
comes to
amount.
when you specifically, and I'm talking about in your siblings, I'm talking about your immediate family, I'm talking about your friends. What obligation do you have to bring others with you,
I have
or
a
to?
high amount of obligation. I think I started with that, but I said that is my opinion though. I can't force that on another. I was just getting to the chase. But yeah, me as a point of I have a high amount of responsibility to raise my children. I have a high amount of responsibility to cover my wife. I have a high amount of responsibility to be dependable to my church. I have a high amount of responsibility to be there for my sister kids. You know what I'm saying? My sister kid's father is not really in that life. I have a high amount of responsibility to be that father figure in his life. Of course, at the end of the day, if I don't choose to do that, a lot of people might say, well, that's not your kids, but I take on that responsibility. I take on the responsibility of making sure my parents are good. I take on that responsibility. But at the end of the day, if another person didn't, I can put my belief on them, but at the end of the day, that's what I choose to believe is more responsibility for a man. But that's my belief.
Hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
So I'm not going to
How
quote.
about you?
I'm not going to quote the. I'm not going to quote the King James
Hmm.
version, but I'm going to quote the King James version on LeBron. I think the way LeBron brought up his friends and paid for them to go to school and hired them and put them in positions to produce on their own, like, I think that is incredible. I think the things that
Hmm.
LeBron James has done off the court almost supersede the things that he's done on the court. And so I think that we do have a responsibility. Now here goes the thing, right? Now we talking about an extreme with Kawhi Leonard, who is a $250 million. I'm gonna keep saying $250 million because
Hmm.
the reason why I say $250 million is because honestly, I'm not even sure that you can spend $250 million if
Hmm.
you try. Like you really gotta try really, really hard to blow through that. Like you got it's hard to do. But so we're not talking about the extreme. I'm gonna talk about something maybe even on a lesser level. Like, what if it's not? We're talking about money. Like, do you have a responsibility to pick up the phone for people that helped you get to where you are, or siblings or brothers, or to give advice? You know, to give small things to get them on the feet. We're not talking about big stuff because in the grand scheme of things, realistically, whatever she robbed that lady for, whatever she robbed that lady for, I'm gonna say it would have been pennies to Kawhi Leonard.
Hmm.
Whatever that lady had in her wallet in the bathroom at the casino would have been pennies compared to what Kawhi Leonard has. It wouldn't move the decimal. How you feel about that?
I feel like this. If I can't say legitimately, her excuse could be, well, my brother didn't help me. Because if she told another human being that, they would say, you gotta be. If she said, well, I'm in this situation because my brother didn't help me, she told me that, would you agree with her? And I think that's where the rubber meets the road. At the end of the day,
Probably.
like, first of all,
Probably.
let's say I told you it's hard to say because we do not know where their relationship was. She could have particularly been a stranger to him. And it's just like saying I hold much responsibility to the person that I don't know. We do not know their relationship at all. They could have been at eyes in. He don't like her. She don't like him. I mean, forget you, and all that situation. But at the end of the day, we proposing this question from the standpoint of maybe they were in good relationships. So dancing off of that topic, at the end of the day, me personally, I would I would feel bad, yes, that I didn't help my sister in the situation. I would also feel bad that she didn't come to me in that situation before it came to be that. If she didn't, it's a lot of ifs and ifs and ifs and this. But from a standpoint, it's just like this. And I always hold this. I'm pretty sure most people will agree with this. I could do a perfect situation in raising my kids. But if my daughter grows up and goes out there and murders somebody, I would like to say that that is not an indicator of my parenting because I could have been the best parent in the world and my child could have still chose to do wrong. And that, at the end of the day, if we're gonna look at parents as the sole reason why kids wind up the way they be are, or brothers as the sole reason why sisters end up the way we are. At the end of the day, we do not know. That's why at the end of the day, the one thing I do know that she could have made a better decision. So that's the reason why Kawhi is not locked up, and the reason why Kawhi is not going to go to jail because at the end of the day,
Oh yeah, ain't
by
nobody say,
yeah,
yeah, nobody's
I'm
insinuating
saying,
that.
but if he was held responsible, I don't think nobody's really going to do that.
Yeah, see,
I don't think nobody's going to.
there's a difference between I think like a legal obligation or legal responsibility and moral responsibility.
Hold on.
Going to some of the chat
Tiff
though,
said I agree with her. She agrees with me.
hey man, I
Thank you,
understand
Tiff.
that.
Thank you, Tiff.
I understand that. All right, so what AD said, if you can't do the time, you don't do the crime. I get that.
Ah, yeah,
Tiff said she could be addicted to something. Tawana
yeah.
said he must not have been giving her any cash. Tiff said it's not her responsibility. It's not his responsibility how she lives her life. He shouldn't
Mhm.
bear the consequences of her actions. Um,
Let's say
Todd,
she was on a question. Let's say she was on dope. She was on drugs. I think the worst thing you could do for a person on drugs is feed them money. Because at the end of the day, let's say she was on heroin. Quite frankly, giving her money might be killing her too. Like we don't know, and that's why I'm not. When we say $250 million, money might not be the fix to her issues. It's just it's that assumption that money heals all things. I think we don't know her situation she was going through, and we don't know could money fix that situation. And what comes down to it. I know people in certain situations because I make a good piece of change and I could give them money. They asked me for money. Of course, I could do that. And I had to learn this early on. Doing that situation is not helping them. Giving them money might just further the problem. I have to have wisdom at the end of the day. That's why some people I can look at them and I have to make a little bit of assumption. That's why at the end of the day, I think we are visual peoples, and when we see people, we do make visual assumptions. Most people think that's wrong, but if I go and I see an individual and they look like they're on drugs and they ask me for money, or ask me for food, I actually go give them food. I can't give them money because I don't want to further the problem and I do want to help. But if I look like a person that's doing bad, and I make an assumption, but I could be wrong. It could be a person that's in a suit and tie that might be on drugs. I'm not saying that, but we make visual decisions all day. Just to act like that's not such, that's just not truth.
um, it's a little bit of deviation from what we're talking about, but when it comes to
I apologize.
homeless people, me personally,
Mm-hmm.
if a guy asks me for money and I got money, I'm gonna give it to him.
Uh-huh.
If getting him a beer is gonna help him get through his situation for that day, then so be it. I can imagine how miserable it is to not have a place to lay my head consistently.
Well, that's good. That's an interesting say word. Let's say he's on heroin. You give him that 20, and that 20 kills him. He put that in his arm and overdoses.
I
Are
guess
you
it's
responsible?
no,
The
but I'm
question
saying
is Hamp responsible?
no. I'm saying
Is he
by proxy, if you want to say I'm responsible for it,
a
but
master?
no. I mean, at the end of the day,
So Kawhi holds no responsibility. You agree with
yeah,
me?
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about from a legal responsibility. What I'm saying is, like, I have siblings. And speaking of siblings, today is my little brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Trey.
Man, we got to start the show off with that.
I
Let me put
know
that
it,
in
man,
there.
and I intended to, man. But you got me so debated, like you got me so heated during this debate that my train of thought was
Yeah.
gone. But
Man, y'all see
anywho,
me start that intro, man. I messed it all up, man.
yeah,
I'm a little bit more
you had me
composed,
flustered.
man.
You had me
Yeah,
flustered,
I
man.
know.
But as
But I
yeah,
still love you,
happy
brother.
birthday, Trey. I love you too, man. Happy birthday, Trey. When it comes to any of my siblings, I don't care what the situation is, man. I don't care what the situation. Um, it to me when it comes to my siblings, if I can't help them consistently, like say if they got a problem, I'm going to offer solutions. I don't know if Kawhi did that. I don't know if Kawhi did that, but me personally, if I'm in a position to do that, man, maybe I'm gonna try to find him a job doing something that I can give him responsibility to do. But maybe it's
Mhm.
something that I can do. Hopefully, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know the variables between their relationship. I don't know, but I do believe I'm gonna do better than that.
Mm.
I'm gonna do better than that. Like I know I'm gonna do better than that. And like I like AD. AD said you ain't got no responsibility. This is the same AD that if anybody I know or knows AD calls him, he is not going to not pick up the phone.
Mhm.
He is going to not help somebody. Like it sounds tough in here, but like the fact of the matter is,
I think
there's
AD
a
would
code.
agree with me though. I think he would say yes, that's his belief that he holds a responsibility. But can he hold another individual accountable to something that he doesn't deem necessary? That's the question. I think that always comes down. That's where the rubber meets the road. I would never go up to an individual that sister chose to kill themselves and say, "What was you in the situation? Why won't you dare to help them out of that situation?" Because these are, at the end of the day, these are the same standpoints we can do. It was people that murdered themselves and or put too much needle in their arm and killed themselves that way. And we're
Okay.
like, why didn't you help? And I seen this on it on YouTube. I look at a lot of comments on a lot of debates oftentimes, and I seen people say the same situation along the same lines of people putting that needle in their arm and killing themselves and or being homeless. Why won't you helping them? At the end of the day, we don't know how much that person tried to help them, and at the end of the day, we don't know if that person could have been helped in that way. We don't know. So I don't think at the end of the day I cannot hold that person accountable at all. I can't hold Kawhi
Okay.
accountable at all. I will, and this I'm gonna tell you a real life situation, right? It's a real life situation, right? I had a cousin, right, that wrapped himself around a tree, right? And I was driving home and I saw him at the liquor store, right? And something told me to go stop and and talk to him, man. I got home that evening, and man, I heard that happen, man. I broke down crying in tears because at the end of the day, I said, man, what if I would have went out there and spoke with him? I might could have did devoted that situation at the end of the day. And the one thing I remember, I cannot put that much pressure on myself when I feel like I'm Superman and can save the world. Even the truth and the fact is, Superman lost people too. He can't do it. There's no way Superman stopped every killing. He stopped every. They just don't show those parts. We don't know those things.
All right. Quick pivot.
And
Oh, go ahead. Go
all
ahead.
right,
Quick pivot.
that's all I was leaving
Yeah.
at that. That's true.
Okay. Well, hold on. Quick pivot, real quick, because I'm gonna ask you this because I understand what you're saying about that. I didn't want to lose this thought with this, right?
Hmm.
So let's say this right here. Let's say hypothetically speaking, let's say we you and I or yourself or however we do it reach some level of success, right?
Hmm.
You reach some level of success. What do you feel personally, not anybody else? What do you feel personally is your obligation to your parents?
My parents will never work again.
What do you feel personally is your obligation to your siblings?
They'll never work again.
How do you feel about your friends?
They'll never work again. Depending on how much. Hold on. The question is like, let's say, how much money do I have? $250 million. We're gonna start that number. $250 million. Yeah, nobody I presently know. Everybody I know would get an amount of money. Now, if they blow through that amount, then and that's the question. Did he give her money and she blew through that? I think it's so many variables that go into this situation. So the question is, I'm of the belief you give me $250 million, it's not a single individual that I know that wouldn't get something. If I can call your name when I see your face, you will get an amount of money from me. You will get money from me. That's it. That's the bar. If maybe because a lot of people I know and I probably can't match the name to one person, I will give them money too. Because I don't, but I'm of the belief money is not, and that's a crazy thing. I don't think money is the same importance to everybody. I'm of the belief, and Hemp, you know me for quite a while now. You know that is not just that's not I value relationships more than money. There's a lot of people that don't. And that's why I think the rubber meets the road. Like I think I know that, what I'm saying, when I had the least amount, when I had the most, I know what I hold on to is the people that were there. So I love my relationships over people. I constantly tell my kids that this stuff can go, but what is important is us, this household, my wife and our kid. We're that my parents. That's what it values. Because at the end of the day, if I had $1 billion and I could, you know what I'm saying, you told me my parents gonna die tomorrow and I had to give that billion up for them to live, take the billion. Don't care about that. It means nothing.
Okay. Now, let's drastically reduce that though. Let's drastically reduce it. Let's drop that number to a annual salary of $300,000 a year.
Mm.
I propose to you that same line of questioning, sir. What is your responsibility? Because many people's terms, you have actually made it.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm in a all right place. I'm in
So
a good
you,
place.
so at that point, at 300,000, most people say you have made it.
Hmm.
All right, now same line of question. Shoot it back at me, sir. What's your ass?
Well, to this point, man, I would love for man. I would hope my sister get up here and my parents will get up here to vouch for me. I help. I man, and I like at the end of the day, if I shout out my giving, the problem with shouting out your giving, it sound like were you trying to boast on it? I don't
No,
like to boast on that.
I'm
At the end of the
asking what
day,
is your
I
obligation. I ain't asking for
give. Yeah,
specifics.
yeah, a lot, a lot. At the end of the day, if my sister is homeless and I have a house, that's not right. My parents are living on the street and I have a house. That's not okay. If I and uh, when my mother watches this video, sometimes she watches it later. I hope she'll shout that out. There is no standpoint. It's instances in life where I didn't even have the money I have now that we bar together and we're gonna make this because if you're going through, I'm going through. And that's just, but I think that's just certain things that certain people have. Everybody don't, I can't, I can't expect other people to live that way because everybody don't have the same relationship because I have that relationship with my father. I can talk about scenarios. I remember getting my first DUI and crying and feeling like I'm home, you know what I'm saying, all out. My father coming up to me, he said, pick your chin up. I'm in this with you. No matter what, no matter every dollar you put forth, I'll put a match a dollar with you. I know that and I feel like I have that same, and that's what it is. I know people that and it's just the way it is. I don't think everybody have had those same benefits in their lives. So can I hold them to the same thing? No. But that's just me. That's me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're the same way. Do you feel like you hold the same amount? I won't let my brother go homeless. And that's hard, Tiff, from a standpoint of some homeless people. I heard testimonies of people trying to help them and people trying to get them off the street. And we don't understand that that person just wanting to be there is the problem. How can you stop a person from doing what they want to do ultimately? You could have tried them. I know individuals that got divorces because their wife got hooked on drugs and they was robbing them. They were stealing from their own family. She was going out there doing a whole lot of stuff. Do you say, and that's ultimately what a rub. I'm telling you, that's a hard standpoint to tell that person, man, you should have helped your wife out in that situation. What were you doing? You left her. It's his sickness and the health. Why weren't you there for them? He like, man, I did all. You just throw that in there. I'm telling you, man, these real life situations and standing up in front of a person and telling them to their face that, man, you wrong. I don't think you ever do that, so I can't do it behind their
All
back.
right. I got the last one for you, brother.
Yeah.
All right, now picture this. Picture this that you don't have nothing. All right, and you have a sibling
Mm-hmm.
that is in a position to help you out. Say they are at that $300,000, and you don't have work, don't have meaningful work, you don't have stable housing, you don't have dependable food.
Mm-hmm.
What is your thought process on what should be done for you? And I want you to genuinely put yourself in that role and ask yourself, like, really, if I'm in that position and I know I have a sibling that is doing like that, what is your thought process on what their obligation is to you?
And I know it might. This might be where the difference is. I don't think they owe me anything. I told you I really hope, and it's way my life has been built. I don't think I always felt this way, but at the end of the day, when I look at myself and I look at my situation, I could look at another person and say, "Man, what if I got this help? What if I got that help?" But I'm of the nature that if I hold myself, and it's just like, and you know this about me if you look at it from a standpoint of like competitive. If I believe a person should take the last shot because and I think you're that way too. Like in this, at the end of the day, I could look at this podcast and say that success. I could blame him. I could say, man, him, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. I would never do that. I would never do that. I will always look at what I did in this situation, and I just feel comfortable doing that because I would. At the end of the day, I have so much absurd, and I say this absurd belief in myself, and it might be absurd. I believe in myself so much, and I am so confident in myself, in the standpoint, and I got to bring religion into this, and my belief in God is so strong that all I need is Him. I don't care if another individual give me anything in my life, I'm good. Nobody owes me nothing. Nobody has to give me anything. At the end of the day, if I have Christ, I'm good. That's it. That's period. And that might sound absurd to a lot of people up here, but this is a real foundation of my belief. If that goes, I mean, I have to change a lot of things. At the end of the day, I'm accountable for my own mistakes, and the only person I need is God. And I know that sounds terrible. I know that sounds terrible because I love people and I care for them and I love what they do for me. But if they did not do it for me, I would never blame them for not doing it. At the end of the day, and that's the truth. I deserve nothing. I deserve nothing from nobody. Nothing. Not a single thing.
That's tough, man.
And the truth is, I have done a horrible. Let me ask you this: if you had individuals, right? Let's say you did horrible things to them. I had people that stuck with me after I ain't done them wrong. And the truth is, they could have left in. Can I? What do you think about it in that situation? If I'm gonna say, all right, so they could have left me then. Can a person and bounce it back to you? That's a,
No,
bounce it back to you. Do
I'll
you
listen to
think
what you're
they're
saying.
held accountable? Do you think a person should be accountable? If you're down and out, you'll blame that individual.
See, I didn't say nothing about blame.
I'm asking. I'm just
No, I'm not.
propose the same question you proposed to me back to you
Okay,
yourself.
the question is, if I was down on my luck and my brother was in a position where he has abundance, I probably would be looking for him to help me.
Hmm.
And my mentality is, if it was the other way around, I would probably help him. So, me, I struggle with the fact that if in my mind this reciprocation isn't what it would be if it was the other way around, I become bothered by it. So, with that being said, I probably, I mean, I get a shirt off my back, and
Yeah,
I'll
but
do
what
that.
would you
But
do
but
in that
don't
situation?
but what I'm saying is, I'll give you the shirt off my back, and my thought process is, once you are clothed, don't leave me out there with no shirt on. You know what I'm saying? Don't leave me out there with no shirt on. Don't do me like that. Like, don't do it like that. But can I expect it? In my mind, unfortunately, Tiffany, yes, I do be expecting. I would expect it. I would expect that you were recipient. Don't leave me out there like that, like, because I wouldn't do that to you. That's my thought process. Now, and I'm not saying that in no way, shape, or form, because I know Kawhi Leonard's going to watch this podcast, and I don't want you to think I'm coming for you saying that you should have did something for your sister. I'm saying in my situation, I don't know what y'all relationship like. I mean, she bigger. She look like she bigger than you. Maybe she used to put paws on you. I don't know. Whatever the case is, I think I would do a little better. But yeah, so some of the
Yeah,
comments.
man, that's why I'm saying you got to get. I wanted to send Hamp this song, but he ain't, I don't know how to send it other than Apple Music, and Hamp ain't got no Apple, man. I
No
want to
man,
send you this song,
Android gang
hey,
gang.
bro.
I will make your chat green.
Y'all,
Don't play
y'all
with
do
me.
me a favor and look. If y'all are any fan, well, this is a Christian that raps, and his name is NF. He's one of these big people that I love to listen to. He got a new album out called Hope, but he got a song out called Let Him Pray. It's people where he says in there, it's people praying on my downfall. Let him pray. And when he's saying that, he got some vicious bars in that joint. Like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Basically like that's my motivation in life. It's plenty of people that probably got me counting me out, and there's plenty of people that, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't matter. Like I have so much thing, I have so many things that I have on my side, and the main person being God, it's nothing anybody can do to stop it. It might be a ridiculous thought process, but this is the basis reason of my success in life. And then at the truth of it is, I don't really believe these things even hold a candle to what I have inside me. At the end of the day, I could lose these things. What are they?
Yeah,
What are they?
yeah. I mean,
Materialistic things. These things, hey, when the world gone, man, this thing gonna return to the ground, to the dirt. What are those things? Relationships are everything. As long as I got those, I'm a good person inside, and what I'm saying, I do the right thing. That's what I measure my life off. You know what I'm saying, doing the right thing. So nah, I think that's it. I think everybody's accountable for each and other's actions, and at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, if you're down and out, build yourself up. And it's a tough way to be, but I think that's the way to be. And I think ultimately you're the exact same way. I think if you got down and out and your brother would, let's say he had $250 million and you was broke and penniless, the first thing you would say is, I'm gonna show him how I pick myself up. I'm gonna show him I can get it. You're not gonna sit there and wallow in your self pity and say, "Man, I wish he could get me out of this situation." The truth is, I know you for a fact. With being the person that you are, and being the strong man that is, I know you will get out of that situation just like everybody else. Matter of fact, I'm willing to bet on it. But at the same time, you got a brother in me that will help you. I ain't gonna leave you there by yourself.
I appreciate it, man. I feel the same way, and I think he summed it up, man. Like, I expect, I expect it, but you're probably right, man. There's, I couldn't tell you the last time I asked for help. I couldn't even tell you. I'm sitting here talking like, yeah, I would expect this and that third. You're right. I know I asked for help. I'm gonna probably try to grab me a shovel and dig my way out.
Mhm.
But the thought that if you could help, I would expect you to help. I guess that's what
Yeah.
I would say. And if you didn't, then I would feel a certain type of way. The last part of this thing that I'm gonna ask about is in the Kawhi Leonard situation. Um, okay, how do you feel about friends though? This is the intriguing part.
Hmm.
I'm talking about your friends, and we talked about this on several episodes. That we have different degrees of friendships and things of that nature.
Hmm.
Well, I'm gonna say your close circle, the ones that you probably talk to at least once a week. I'm
Hmm.
talking about that close circle. What
Hmm.
obligation to your friends, and how is a responsible way to help them once you get to the point of what you feel is successful? What do
What
you do? Do you give money? Do you give? How do you do it?
I think you probably know the answer to this question. Being friends together, you know how I treat conversation that we have when you ask for my help. I I don't just I help you because I believe I'm responsible to doing those things. It's just, but that's just who I am. I don't think everybody I know for certain everybody doesn't share that same sentiment. We know it on this podcast. It's certain people that I'm friends with for years that probably don't tune in at all. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of they don't support me in a lot of things. I think there's several individuals that I've been preaching for a while. I ain't never seen came now one of my sermons, man. But at the end of the day, it's certain levels to friendships, and there's certain people got you know what I'm saying. Like I always say, hey man, excuses, you know what I'm saying? People make a lot of those, man. At the end of the day, I love people and I think I build friendship like credit, like the government build credit. You know what I'm saying? If you don't pay, you don't do this, I just stop depending on you less and less. But I don't know. I don't think I got certain people that's close to me. What church I go to? I go to Community Fellowship Church of Deliverance, Tawana, in Capron, Virginia. And don't think that's a knock for anybody that ain't came to see me, man. Listen here. I know how busy people get, and at the end of the day, I think that's all well and good, man. When I look out there, man,
What
I
is your
think it's one
what is
individual.
your sermon? When your next sermon, Corey? Tell
I
me, is
preached
this
I preached every other second sermon. It probably won't be next because I can preach two second sermons in a row. But I have to preach at another church. My sister's supposed to be getting me connected. Somebody asked me to preach at their church, and I don't know exactly what it is because they want me to preach on a fourth Sunday. And because I have other obligations, I can't just necessarily do it. I have to preach on the radio broadcast. The third Sunday of next month. That's the most definite Sunday I have to preach on the radio. The next third Sunday, and it's mostly my responsibility. I don't really put out when I preach because I tell myself I don't like people to just come hear me preach but I have been told by a lot of people I have a responsibility to putting my message out there to the world. It's just as much as responsibility I have to preach and I have to sow it. But it's, I don't like to put myself up, so
understood?
I do a better
Understood.
job with that.
Well, unfortunate for myself, I only get one Sunday off every month.
Yeah.
I get one Sunday off from work every month, and this particular Sunday I will be off. I hope you preaching this Sunday. I hope you
Next
preaching this
Sunday.
Sunday.
It
This
won't be
Sunday,
next. The next second Sunday would definitely be my wife. And then the next one after that would be me. I'm not sure how, but I make it known. I put it out there
make it
whenever I
known, man.
preach. I just make it known. Don't feel like it's y'all responsibility at all. It's mostly me because I don't even let people know most of the time. Most people like, man, why you ain't tell me you preach? And usually when somebody say that, I tell them the next time. So like LT has came and saw me, and man, I'm trying to tell you, man, Bronte Miles, that's a good brother of mine, man.
Yeah,
Good
LT
brother
good,
of mine,
LT
man.
good folks.
Yeah,
Good
can't
folks.
got out early after he worked that day. Got up, so we go to church at 9, man. He was there in the parking lot waiting on limited amount of sleep, man.
Yeah, you can count on
Yeah,
that. You can count on
yeah,
that guy, man. That's who he is. That's who he is.
yeah.
But let's wrap this thing up, brother. What
Oh,
you
we
got?
still got some things in the NFL now, man. We cannot speed past this thing. NFL draft. What's your level of excitement? Come
Hey,
on
man.
now.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna tell you this. For me, he said we're gonna show up with our bad teacher. If Corey ever get him out, man, Corey
Oh
done
my
did. I'm
God.
gonna tell you this. Corey has done absolutely every single thing in his life that he has told me he's gonna do since I've known that man, except for get these shirts out. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave it alone at that. Back to the statement. Back to the statement about the NFL draft.
yeah.
I know you're
I
gonna get these
can't say
shirts
that.
out.
I have no defense. I have no defense. I'm really, really truthful when I say this. I'm going to have it. What's name text me personally what I needed to ask, and this is because I didn't want to get the people's shirts that I know. I didn't get. I know.
Hey,
If
look,
you have not texted me,
I
basically, if you
tell you
have
what.
not texted me personally, you will not get a shirt because
Okay.
I only got Ham, Tiff,
If you,
Kevin, my sister, my Stanley, and what's the name? That's it. That's Stanley and Tara.
okay.
Other
And
than that,
listen,
I have not got you.
if you need me to right now before we go into this football thing,
Help me.
I will help you. And the way I'm gonna help you is I'm going to reach out to Tiffany because Tiffany is the administrative person. She is. When I tell you, she's the most organized administrative person that I know in life. I'm gonna get her
Yeah.
to type something up. If you text me or text her what you need, she will type it up
Yeah, please,
and get
thank
in
you,
it.
thank you.
Yeah,
That's
she'll
what
type
I'm
it up.
worth about doing
Okay.
is getting people's sizes together. Because I'm very, very good with passing that information on to my apostle. The problem is I don't want to put
Okay.
that out there
All
and
right.
then have to come back with a person saying, "Man, where
Hey,
my
hey,
T-shirt at?"
hey, hey, here we go right now. If you're in here right now and you want a shirt, go ahead and put your name and the size. And Tiff, can you please write it down for me, please, while we go
Thank you.
into this NFL draft thing? I appreciate you, baby. All right, so NFL draft. Here goes the questions, Corey. And I'm gonna tell
Uh-huh.
you, anybody that knows me knows that when it comes to the NFL draft, that is my Super Bowl. That is my Super Bowl.
Wow.
That is the one time a year that I am excited because I know for sure that we are that team. Now, when the season happens and reality kicks your butt week in and week out, and then you find out your team ain't as good as you thought it was, this is a time when you have more hope right now
Mm-hmm.
than you will ever have.
Mm-hmm.
You got more hope in who my team is gonna draft because your team is gonna draft the next coming of this person right now. I am so excited about the draft. You have no idea. I got hold up real quick. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
My wife knows that one of these days this week I'm going to call out or I'm going to leave work early because I got to get to Barnes and Nobles because I got to get my book. I have to get my book. The book came out probably today or tomorrow. I'm gonna get my book for my draft prospects. I'm going to make my my board. I usually make a board in there. Man, Corey, listen. Don't nobody love the draft like I love the draft, brother.
All right. So the question is, what round do you love more? The first day, which is the first round. The second day, what day you like more? The first day, which is the
Man,
first round, or the
you
second and third round, or the
okay?
last day when they go through everything.
All right. Me personally, I always take off Saturday and Sunday
Mm-hmm.
because I like this. I like the long shots.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the weekends. The
Mm-hmm.
first day is like it's kind of cool, but I really like the last day. I like 4 through 7.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. I like 4 through 7. But I watch every minute. I don't miss a second of it. I
I
don't miss
think
a second of it.
second and third wins you your Super Bowls.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Second and third is. Oh no, I'm just saying personally. The second and third, I feel like everybody expects to hit on the first, but the second and third are the ones that if you get a start out of those rounds, you really doing very, very well. Especially if you get a start out of the back rounds, but really you're just trying to build a meat of your roster with that. But second and third round picks is I can name just about every Danielle Hunter being the third round pick, Dalvin Cook being the
Yeah.
second round pick.
So
Going through those rounds is just
so this is what I understand. This is what I understand from watching the draft probably like maybe 10 years ago. He said that believe it or not, you should have a higher bust rate in your first round than you do your second and third rounds.
because the expectation is not that high.
No, it's not that because when the first round, you are drafting for potential.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're looking for those guys with those freaky traits. You're looking for those guys that they are physical anomalies, like guys that have the potential to be special. Those are your home run guys. Your second and third round, you're drafting starters. You get what I'm saying? The second round, third round, I'm drafting a guy that's just gonna be good. He's gonna be good enough to be a starter in the NFL. That's all I hope for. He's gonna be a starter that I can put him in and play him. And then your other guys are developmental prospects in rounds 4 through 7. The issue is when guys take developmental prospects in that first round, like that's when it becomes a problem. That's what and Anthony Richardson is the developmental prospect that I am most excited about in this draft.
Oh,
I am
me
excited
too.
about that, brother.
Me too. So going on to this next one, the question is who goes first? Who you got going first? Who you think the Carolina Panthers pick number one overall?
Bryce Young.
I think it's CJ. And I made the argument the reason why I think it's CJ because number one, Bryce Young didn't throw at that combine. They traded up. I don't think you trade up before you see that man throw. Because I think when you trade up, you have your selection in mind. You have identified with a guy that you want. So you trade up to one. And if you traded up to one, when they did it, Bryce Young has yet to throw. He did not throw the football at the combine or have his pro day. That means if they select Bryce Young, they did all of that with never seeing that man throw. Unless they identified with that man without seeing him throw the football personally, and I just don't see. That's my only reason.
I agree with you.
That's my only reason.
I think that CJ Stroud was the choice.
Yeah.
But you know the NFL got rid of the Wonderlic score, right?
Mm.
But they got something to replace it. And it tracks your ability to make decisions at a fast speed. It's essentially the Wonderlic 2.0. They got rid of the Wonderlic because people said it was racist. And this is the replacement of the Wonderlic score. And CJ Stroud is like in the bottom 2% of all time of people taking it.
Mm.
So you can't draft that guy. You can't draft that guy first of all.
I'm pretty sure what's the name went low too. Quarterback for the
Lamar Jackson.
For the Bears. Yeah, Lamar Jackson too.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson actually had like one of the lowest Wonderlic scores too of all time.
Yeah. What's the Bears quarterback? What's
the
name again?
They weren't doing the Wonderlic score. They was doing that score that they're doing now. I forget the name of it. I doubt what he scored, man. But yeah, man, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Because if that's the case, then you get rid of the test. If you don't subscribe to the test, then get rid of the test. Because if you get somebody that scores all time low in it, then get rid of the test if you still gonna draft.
We have to dive into that too because at the end of the day, like tests, they say they get rid of the SAT because is it a such thing as standardized testing? Then that's the question. That's the biggest thing. Do you have standardized testing? Do you have EOGs and I don't know what y'all had in Virginia, SOLs, right? Any standardized tests do y'all get rid of? But that's another topic for another day. Any draft surprises? Any surprises in this draft that you don't think anybody?
Hold on, he said real quick. We said what's on the test? Is it like the ASVAB? Nah, I think actually, from what I understand on the test, Cam, I think it's supposed to be your ability to make quick decisions, and I guess it's answering questions. It's probably like the ASVAB, like the math portion of the ASVAB. I'm assuming. I don't know. You said any draft surprises that I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Bijan Robinson goes in the top 10. And that's what I'm saying. That's a very it's not the responsible thing. Actually, I think that at the Eagles position, I think that's where he goes. I think at 10. Whether it's the Eagles drafting him at 10 or we trade him.
I think you want the Eagles to. I think you want the Eagles to draft him at 10.
I want the Eagles to get a corner. I want the Eagles to get a cornerback if he's there.
Mm-hmm. So you'd be happy with them passing on Bijan?
I ain't gonna be happy. I mean, I don't know, man. I think
Bijan.
You
want them to select Bijan? I know.
Yeah, I want.
If somebody offer you 3 first-round picks in fantasy football, would you select them?
We're not talking about fantasy football, bro.
I'm just trying to set somebody up to get 3 first-round picks so they can try to, and I'm gonna sell them on that. I want to say, if Ham, let's say it's 3 high first-round picks, would you trade them? If somebody had 3 high ones.
All right, high means top 4. So ain't nobody got 3 top 4. That's high.
Nobody's gonna have that. I'm saying 4,
exactly.
5,
so
4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. So you said middle rounds because 6 is directly in the middle.
Yeah. Top of the round though. That's top.
That's in the middle. That's
4, 5, 6. Nobody's gonna have 2, 3, 4.
Okay. All right.
4,
so
5, 6.
All right. You said okay. So you said all right. Okay. Fine. What about it? What's your question?
Would you trade the 1 for this 4, 5, and 6? That's a tough pass. That's a lot. I mean, everybody's
Depends on
gonna
how
have a guy.
depends on how my
in that
roster's
draft.
constructed.
Mm.
Depends on how my
You know
roster.
how your roster's constructed.
Okay, so the answer right now, how my roster's constructed right now,
Would you 4, 5, and 6? Would you
I wouldn't do
trade
it.
B John for?
4, 5, and
That's
6.
a lot, bro. That's a lot for any one pick. 4, 5, and 6 for any one pick. Because B John could be a bust, and you're gonna regret
I tell you
that.
what. I tell you what. If the picks was, if one of them was 2, then yeah, or 3, I can't. Yeah, if one of them was 3, then yeah.
All right, my draft surprise is I think the Texans trade out of that pick. I don't think the Texans are gonna go quarterback. And we're gonna get into that right here. That's right here. Which quarterback slide? I think Texans go Will Anderson or they trade that pick.
Hey, I think this is what I think. I think if there's any truth to that score thing that we talked about, if there's any truth to it, CJ Stroud gonna be looking uncomfortable inside the draft.
I trade up for CJ Stroud.
I'm
If the
telling
Vikings, if CJ Stroud falls in this draft and the Vikings do not trade up to get him, I'm embarrassed for him.
Hey, look. Matter of fact, I'm like I said, I don't know if it's likely, but if any truth to that boy testing that poorly, and
I was mad
I
when
mean,
they traded out of Justin Fields. We had Justin Fields.
I'm telling you, we're gonna see a scenario where some team is gonna be thinking about, you know what, Will Levis ain't that bad.
I think Will Levis go. I told you I think Will Levis. I look at potential number one. I think Will Levis' arm is potential. At the end of the day, I think the biggest thing you look for in the draft is potential. You want to hit big if you hit, but having a guy with a ceiling that's here and a guy with a ceiling that's here, I'm going with the guy with the ceiling that's here. That's just it. Will Jalen Carter slide?
No. As far as Will Levis, I'm gonna tell you this. I've heard this saying before. Will Levis is 2 years away from being 2 years away. That's what I'm saying. And most teams ain't got that long to wait for the boy. I don't think he's that good. I don't think it's that good.
That's it for the questions. I did want to do a mock draft, but we're seeing how we are pressed for time. I had a mock draft set up, but we'll do that another time. How about we do that sometimes before the draft?
I don't know, man. When you watching the draft at this week, man?
I'm open. The tough thing is the first night being so late, bro. God, late, bro. Comes on at 9.
I mean, I used to actually go. I used to go to Eagles Nest to watch it, and it was to the point where it becomes uncomfortable when that thing is on 12:30.
God, like everybody in that zone.
It's uncomfortable.
We picked 23, so I'm like, God, we gonna
you talking about the
minute.
Eagles?
Y'all pick at 10.
And we got 2 picks. We picked.
I know,
31.
but at least you get excited about the first one.
Man, we picking 30, bro. Like this day gonna be late, but yeah. Anywho, man,
let that joint get to 23 and they trade out of the first round. I'm going to be livid.
Hey, I don't know, man. I'm not watching that thing nowhere, no bars, no nothing. I will celebrate this thing at the house, and I'm gonna make my boy stay up long as he can stay up to watch it. Yeah, I'll make him stay up long as he can stay up to watch it. But man, yeah, I'm excited. We might have to change that episode day off, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that. We can shoot it. How about? We can stream it live. That way we ain't gotta go over. We could definitely stream it live.
We have to negotiate that.
We can do a live stream while we
but tomorrow, Mondays, and we're gonna have a good episode for y'all tomorrow. We'll have a good episode for y'all tomorrow for Mondays. Go ahead and close this thing out, Corey.
Oh man, I want to start this thing out. I appreciate y'all. We have had a lot of success in this past week, with especially our viewership and the amount of views that we're getting on some of these episodes are out of this world. And we have you to thank for that. We thank y'all for being our faithful listeners, man, and watchers. And another thing, at the end of the day, I told y'all it's not about building a podcast, but about building a community and a family. I look at each and every last one of y'all as my family. And if y'all going through a time, please call me. I will be there for you in much ways more than money. It's just at the end of the day, I'm here for you. Don't be going through suffering. Don't be looking for us. At the end of the day, we're here, we're one, we're a unit. Hey,
BBBY. I don't know what that is.
foul for burglary. I lost money, BBB. Bad away. I don't know, bad you.
I don't know,
I
Kevin. I
don't
don't know
know.
what that means. What, BBBY? Foul for bankruptcy. I don't know. Who you talking about, BBBY? I don't know. You got to tell me about that off the podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, also, next thing, if there's any, again, man, these things got a lot of views, man. But one thing I have to ask you is hit. Oh, man, Panther Beyond. I told you, Kevin. I tried to talk to you, brother. I tried to tell you. But anywho, yeah, we had a discussion about bad stock and bad Panther Beyond. So terrible idea. But anywho, if you have not hit that thumbs up button down there, please hit the thumbs up button. 2, share it and keep sharing like you're doing. I appreciate that. But most importantly, if you really think about an episode that you want to hear about, or you want to get, if you something that you think you can contribute to or something like that, man, let us know. Let us know. Let us know. We'd love to have you up there. We'd love to even talk about what you want to talk about. With that being said, it's time to say it, Corey. We love yours. We out. Peace.
Love yours.